How emerging technology could redefine the future of human birth. For thousands of years, every human life has begun in the same place. Inside a mother's womb, protected from the outside world, a developing baby grows through an extraordinary biological process that has changed very little throughout human history. It is one of nature's most remarkable achievements, but today, advances in medical science are raising a question that once belonged only in science fiction. What if technology could one day support human development outside the human body? Artificial womb research is no longer simply an idea discussed in futuristic novels. Scientists are actively studying technologies that may one day improve survival for extremely premature babies. At the same time, these developments raise profound questions about medicine, ethics, parenthood, and the future of human reproduction. This documentary explores what artificial womb technology really is, what it is designed to achieve, and why it has become one of the most debated scientific developments of our time. To understand artificial wombs, we first need to understand their real purpose. Much of the public discussion focuses on futuristic visions of babies developing entirely outside the human body. In reality, current research is far more limited. Scientists are primarily investigating systems that could help babies born extremely prematurely. Babies delivered many weeks before their due date often face enormous medical challenges because their lungs, brain, and other organs have not yet fully developed. Even with modern neonatal intensive care, caring for these infants remains extremely difficult. Researchers hope that artificial womb technology may one day provide an environment that more closely resembles the natural conditions inside the uterus, giving these babies additional time to continue developing before breathing independently. Several research teams have already demonstrated promising experimental systems using animal models. These systems are not mechanical incubators in the traditional sense. Instead, they attempt to recreate key conditions found during pregnancy. The developing animal remains inside a sterile, fluid-filled environment, while oxygen and nutrients are delivered through a specially designed circulation system. This allows the lungs to continue developing without immediately being exposed to air. These studies have shown encouraging scientific progress, but they remain carefully controlled laboratory research. Human clinical use would require extensive testing, regulatory approval, and careful ethical oversight before becoming a routine medical treatment. The reason scientists are pursuing this technology is straightforward. Premature birth remains one of the leading causes of infant illness and death worldwide. Every year, millions of babies are born before they have fully developed. Modern neonatal medicine has dramatically improved survival compared with previous generations, yet the earliest premature babies continue to face significant risks. Artificial womb research aims to bridge the difficult period between the womb and conventional intensive care. Rather than replacing pregnancy, the goal is to extend the protective environment of pregnancy for infants who have already been born far too soon. If successful, this approach could improve survival while reducing long-term complications associated with extreme prematurity. Creating such an environment is far more difficult than it may first appear. A developing baby depends upon a remarkably complex biological relationship with the mother. Oxygen, nutrients, hormones, antibodies, and countless biochemical signals are exchanged continuously through the placenta. Scientists still do not fully understand every aspect of this interaction. Reproducing even part of this natural system requires sophisticated engineering combined with an advanced understanding of developmental biology. Temperature, fluid composition, circulation, pressure, and oxygen delivery must all remain carefully balanced. Even small disturbances could affect healthy development. This complexity explains why artificial womb technology remains an active area of research rather than an established medical treatment. As often happens with emerging technologies, ethical questions quickly follow scientific progress. One important question concerns the point at which medical intervention becomes possible. If artificial wombs improve survival for extremely premature babies, could this eventually influence how doctors define the earliest stage at which life can be sustained outside the body? Medical, legal, and ethical discussions surrounding viability have existed for many years. New technologies could influence these debates in ways that societies will need to consider carefully. These questions do not have simple answers because they involve medicine, law, ethics, and deeply held personal beliefs. Another discussion focuses on the future of pregnancy itself. Some commentators imagine a future where artificial wombs completely replace natural pregnancy. At present, there is no scientific evidence that such a system is close to becoming reality. Supporting an already developing premature baby differs enormously from creating an entire pregnancy outside the human body from conception until birth. The biological challenges remain immense. Nevertheless, the possibility continues to stimulate public debate because it raises broader questions about reproduction, family life, and the relationship between technology and human biology. Even if such technologies remain distant, discussing their potential consequences helps societies prepare for future scientific developments. Artificial womb technology may also change the experience of parenthood in unexpected ways. Pregnancy involves far more than physical development alone. Parents often describe pregnancy as an important emotional journey that begins long before birth. The sounds of a heartbeat, the first movements, and the gradual anticipation of meeting a child all form part of that experience. Medical technologies already influence pregnancy in many ways through ultrasound, genetic testing, and specialized prenatal care. Artificial womb research introduces additional questions about how technological support might affect emotional experiences for parents if these systems eventually become part of routine medical care. These are deeply personal questions that science alone cannot answer. The legal and regulatory challenges are equally significant. Any technology involving developing human life requires exceptionally high standards of safety, oversight, and transparency. Governments, medical regulators, and ethics committees would need to establish clear rules governing clinical use. Questions surrounding consent, medical responsibility, patient safety, and long-term monitoring would require careful consideration. International cooperation may also become important because medical regulations differ between countries. Establishing public trust will depend not only on scientific success, but also on open communication about the benefits, risks, and limitations of the technology. Artificial womb research also reminds us that medicine often advances by addressing specific medical problems rather than pursuing dramatic technological revolutions. Many innovations that now seem routine began as highly specialized treatments for patients facing life-threatening conditions. Artificial heart valves, organ transplantation, and neonatal intensive care were once considered extraordinary developments. Today they save countless lives. Artificial womb technology may follow a similar path, beginning as a carefully controlled treatment for a small number of extremely premature infants before gradually expanding if future evidence supports wider use. Progress in medicine usually occurs step by step, rather than through sudden transformation. The future of artificial womb technology remains uncertain because many scientific questions have yet to be answered. Researchers continue improving circulation systems, monitoring technologies and artificial environments while studying how developing organs respond under carefully controlled conditions. Long-term studies will be essential to understand whether these systems can safely support healthy development over extended periods. Engineers, biologists, neonatologists, and ethicists all contribute to this research because no single discipline can solve such a complex challenge alone. Collaboration across multiple scientific fields will determine how far the technology ultimately progresses. The artificial womb represents far more than an engineering achievement. It reflects humanity's continuing effort to use science to protect life, while confronting difficult ethical questions about where medical innovation should lead. At its heart, this research is motivated by a desire to improve outcomes for some of the most vulnerable patients in medicine. Babies born far too early. Whether artificial womb technology eventually becomes a routine medical treatment or remains limited to specialized care will depend upon decades of scientific research, careful regulation, and thoughtful public discussion. The future is not predetermined. It will be shaped by evidence, ethics, and the values societies choose to uphold. As we continue exploring the boundaries of medical science, one principle remains constant. Technology may change how we care for life, but it also challenges us to think carefully about what it truly means to be human. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more fact-based investigations into the technologies, engineering breakthroughs, medical innovations, and ethical questions shaping our future, please subscribe to the channel. Every week we explore complex subjects using clear language, balanced evidence, and thoughtful analysis, helping you stay informed in a rapidly changing world.